everybody, this is Bree from bakery.com, and tonight I'm going to give you a quick little tutorial on how I edit some of my images for my website using Lightroom 2. I'm going to give you a little setup. I took these two pictures tonight. The light in my kitchen was pretty speckled and spotty, so I decided that I was going to go find light in a better place, and it just happened to be underneath my porch in the front of my house. Because of that, we kind of have some white balance issues, and while this isn't a terrible picture, it definitely could be popped a little bit and tweaked a little bit to really make it beautiful and show off the star of the show, which is the cobbler. So we're going to get started. We're going to hit the develop module in Lightroom, and we're basically going to work from the top of the module down. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to correct this white balance. So we're going to get rid of the blue by moving the temperature slider a little bit to the right, to the yellow side, until I kind of like what I see. I know that there are formulas and ways to do it correctly, but I don't. I just kind of do it till I like what I see. And you know, you can always go back and fix things. Nothing is permanent. And because you're doing it on a raw image, you're not doing any damage to it. So you can really play all you want. My favorite thing to do in Lightroom is to really play with these blacks. I think when you play with your black slider, it really adds a depth and richness to your images that you just really don't realize you need it till you see it. So I'm going to move the slider a little bit to the 20, and to go back on something, you can double click it and the slider will go back to where it originally started from. So you can see where we started from, and just by adding a little bit of black, we added a ton of like richness and depth, and it's just really beautiful. Our exposure is pretty good. It's definitely a little, you know, blowing to the highlight side, and I do tend to blow my highlights a bit. I definitely push them. That's just the way I shoot, and it's my style, and I'm okay with it. I really prefer that. I like that look. I like bright and airy versus kind of underexposed. So even though I don't have to go back and fix it, because I could go get some of my highlights fixed in recovery, I'm just going to leave it alone. But I'm going to add a little brightness. Not a lot, but just a little bit. I just kind of like that, you know, bright, airy pop, and that is how I shoot, and it's my style, and I like it to be consistent. It's part of who I am. So I added a little bit of contrast, a touch of clarity, which basically just kind of crisps the image up and sharpens it a little bit, and then a tinge of vibrance and a tinge of saturation. And that looks really good. There's a huge difference from when we started to now. But I still have to do a couple things. I'm going to crop this image and get rid of some of that white space. I always tend to crop to a 5:7 ratio. And one of the tools that Lightroom has is it gives you a, you know, rule of thirds grid. So it kind of lets you keep in mind composition while you're editing. I really want the cobbler to be the star of the show, not the milk or the spoon, but I definitely want some balance and symmetry. So I'm just going to kind of play with it till I like what I see. I do like it right there, so I'm just going to hit return. And, you know, we got out some of that white space and things that we didn't want, and it looks pretty good. And the last thing we're going to do is, one of my other favorite tools in Lightroom is we're going to use the clone tool. So basically what we're going to do is we're going to get rid of some of these crumbs, and Lightroom is going to sample another spot in the image and cover up the crumb. So there you go. Like, it totally does a really good job of covering it up, and you can't even tell anymore. And I'm going to put the before and afters on here on my website so you can see the difference. In this picture, we definitely have a little more work to do because we have a few issues. We have the crop issue, we have the white balance issue, and it just looks lifeless. We need some life to this picture. So we're going to do the same thing. We're going to start with the white balance. We're going to get rid of that blue cast and add some yellow. And then we're going to, same thing with the exposure. It's okay. We're going to add some blacks. That's looking good. And this picture needs a lot of brightness. We need to definitely add some life, and just needs more light. You know, like it looks kind of lifeless. So we're going to add that in there until you like it. We're going to add a little contrast, a little clarity to sharpen and crispen it up a little bit, and then a little vibrance, and a little saturation. And there you go. I do think though that this is a little pink, so I'm going to go back and get some of that out. That's pretty good. So that's the thing about Lightroom, you can go back and change anything. Now we're going to have to deal with this crop issue. So this is basically really lazy camera work on my part, and you know, it's inexcusable. I could go into Photoshop and clone this stuff out or sample it, and I just don't have the time or the inclination, so I'm not going to. And I also kind of want this picture to be cropped tighter because I want the emphasis to be on the cobbler, not on the other parts. So I'm going to do a little creative cropping. Hold on, let me make sure. Yeah, it was 5x7. Okay. I'm going to crop it. That's not enough. Okay. So I'm going to go back in and I'm just going to kind of get rid of the stone and pull the emphasis on the cobbler until you like what you see. And I still, you know, I'm in the bottom 2/3. I've got some symmetry. I like this crop. I tend to like, you know, not perfect crops. That's my style. And I'm, you know, it's fine. And I really do kind of like the emphasis on the cobbler, and, you know, it looks okay. So now what we're going to do is we're going to go to the library module. We're going to select both of these images. And I'm a Mac user, so you can just hit shift and click and it'll select them both. We're going to hit export, and we have custom text, so you can name it whatever you want. We named it Blueberry Cobbler. And one of the cool things we can do is we can size it already to my blog. So my blog template needs pictures to be 600 on the long side, so we're going to go to the long edge. It's 600 pixels. And we're going to change this resolution. For a web size image, you do not need a 300 dpi image. 72 is just fine. A screen can only show 72 dpi, so you're just wasting file size and space by using a larger DPI, and that's it. You're going to export these and they'll be ready to import up to your blog in a matter of 2 minutes maybe. I really thank you for watching. If you like what you see, subscribe. If you have any comments or suggestions, please feel free to leave them in the box, and I will get back to you as soon as I can. And if you have any ideas for more tutorials, please let me know. So thanks for watching, and see you again soon. Bye.